Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Quality of Life show. Today, we're excited to welcome back Dr. Jackie Eubany, or I should say Dr. Jacqueline, Dr. Jackie. That's what we call her. She is the author of the best-selling book, Women and Heart Disease, The Real Story. She's a certified cardiologist and an electrophysiologist. And she is joining us today to talk about how to have a heart-healthy summer vacation, because travel is definitely back on and everybody go back to driving school. I'm just kidding. But anyway,
really.
Welcome back to the show, Dr. Jackie. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for inviting me.
Hey, it's always good to chat with you. And I want people to know your website is womenandheartdiseasebook.com. I'll have that link in the show notes, no matter where you're listening from. But Dr. Jackie, before we get into the heart healthy vacation party time, let's just recap, because it's been a few months since you've been on.
Yes.
Just recap and give people an idea of the importance of being heart healthy, because especially for women, how deadly heart disease is, because we're seeing this. This morning, I woke up to news that a friend of mine and past radio guest just had a massive heart attack. And I'm like, wow, she's a healthy woman. How did that happen? So what are the numbers that we should realize about this being a real serious issue? And then we can play and go on vacation.
Yes. Well, heart disease is the number one killer of women in the United States. It kills more women than, breast cancer and lung cancer, actually. So it's very important that you pay attention to your heart health. For me, I want to stress prevention, because prevention goes a long way in giving you a better quality of life over the long term than treating, heart disease. So it's very important to try to prevent it by, doing things like exercising, drinking lots of water, don't smoke, don't drink, and correcting your risk factors if you do have risk factors, like if you're diabetic, you're hypertensive, or you have high cholesterol. You want to make sure you see your doctor on a regular basis and get those numbers under control. So heart disease is the number one killer of women. I think more and more people are learning this. But the important thing is that you can actually decrease your risk by some simple lifestyle changes, which is what we always talk about on this channel.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about today, because, when we think about summer vacation, it's like, woohoo, let's party. Nancy and I travel full time, as you know, across the country, but we're about to take a break from traveling but going out into nature, right? And kind of just unplug from computers and phones, except for real emergencies, and just be out in nature and relax and breathe and go for
That's
our
the
hikes
best.
and things like that. So what do you say? Is that a thumbs up in regards to a lifestyle change versus maybe having more than 5 ounces of wine every night? Uh-oh.
It's
I
definitely
said
a
maybe.
thumbs up, Going on vacation is definitely a thumbs up, because every once in a while you need to get out of your stressful environment and go to a place where you can recharge and just rejuvenate. That's all very important, because we all know that stress can contribute to heart disease. So it's very important to find things that make you de-stressed and try to do it as often as you can.
Sometimes I think, like, when you use the word stress and you think of your body, like if you say, okay, there's a stress on my heart or on my bladder, or I have a stress in a muscle, that there's a certain part of your body that tells the rest of your body, hey, I'm in trouble, do something quick. And then your body reacts. And then maybe it doesn't always react exactly as you might think, or it exactly as it should. And so things get a little out of whack, and then I think when things get a little out of whack, we try to step in and fix it. instead of de-stressing. And then, there's so many medications, and I'm not saying you shouldn't take your medications. You definitely should if they're prescribed. But I think there's so many over-the-counter things that you could just go buy without even talking to a doctor that modify what's going on in your body, and not always in a good way. So, as opposed to stress, to take a pill, just, I don't know, it's almost like taking a drink in
Uh-oh.
a way. Well, in a way, I mean, you can go get sort of like sleeping pills without
Yeah, I
it,
wonder about
you
that.
know what I mean?
It's like, oh, yeah, in other words, we're self-medicating in different ways,
Yeah,
right? Versus, taking a break from
yeah,
stress through all kinds of different ways now.
right.
I mean,
It's like you're continuing the bad behavior and modifying it by taking something that you don't really know about.
mm,
You mean like
Yeah.
taking pills to go to sleep?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Unless they're
Probably
prescribed
not.
by a doctor.
Well, it's usually healthier to try to, sleep or do it in a more natural way than taking pills, because sometimes you can get addicted to these sleeping medications that can be detrimental. So, I mean, of
Mm.
course, if you're having a difficult time sleeping, you should speak to your physicians
Right.
and see what they have to offer you. But we always emphasize good sleep hygiene, trying to go to bed earlier rather than later, turning all the lights off, not watching TV in bed, not eating in bed, and,
Oh,
saving the room for sleep only, so you can condition your body to sleep. So those kinds of natural ways are, the things that we would strive for first. And if that's not working, then you can consider talking to your physician about, other options for sleep.
Mm.
But good sleep hygiene is definitely important for your health. Less stress, get a good night's sleep, eating healthy, exercising. Those go such a long way in preventing, heart disease.
And there's
And
such
control.
simple things too when you think about it. Sleep can be really hard for people. If you've got things on your mind, and I know you've
Mhm.
Right.
talked on the show before about the importance of meditation, yoga, and even spirituality goes into that, I think. And no matter what
Absolutely.
people believe, that you can get centered that way, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
So
there
figuring
are.
out ways.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was
So I
going to
was
say
saying
there are
figuring out
some.
ways. Uh
I'm going to come here and direct traffic. Dr. Jackie, you go.
Go ahead. Yeah.
huh. No, I was just saying you should figure out ways that de-stress you. Things that you like to do that makes you calm, and try to do that as much as possible.
Mm. And sometimes some really soft music can help, but there are some TV channels that put you to sleep before you even get into bed.
Yeah, watch those. Watch those. Well, but I love that you say find what it is that you like to do. Like we like Nancy and I were like work hard, play hard, and that's our balance. Whereas other people are like, no, I could never do that. But I think everybody has their balance of who they are. It's about finding it or living your
Right.
life in what we've learned in harmony versus even the word balance. It's about being harmonic in how you do things. So your body is always happy and aware and alert. Like you said, find things that you enjoy. Nancy and I love animals and pets. And
Mm.
this morning, you'd be very happy to know that I'm taking big, long dog walks, right? Twice a day, walking dogs. And
Uh-huh.
like this, well, the dog we're taking care of, Milo, he takes me on a walk. He made me go up and down hills, down through a creek area.
He's a
Um,
sweetie.
Mm-hmm.
it's very cool. But it's like I'm walking, and I just prescribe dog walking to people. Like if I was a doctor, I'd say like go dog walk a dog if you like dogs. But that's something I personally enjoy because dogs sniff, they take time to look at little things. And then he
They're
goes,
cute.
"Oh, I've sniffed that. I'm done. Maybe he's done a little shapoopy or whatever." And then he's like, "Skippy, Skippy, let's move forward." All right. And no matter what, you have to be present because what if another dog comes or like a
Yeah,
squirrel or
that's
something like
always
that, then
fun.
they really are going to take you for a run instead of a walk.
Hmm.
So there's this being present, and I personally love it. Now, other people may be like, I want to go let off steam going and listening to a heavy metal band, which is, I mean, you're dancing, you're having a good time. That everybody's got their own thing, right? If they're
Swimming.
de-stressing,
Right.
that's fine, right? For your heart to do that.
Swimming is
Right.
good. I think swimming is really relaxing.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's also a form of exercise, which is
Yeah.
also good.
Yeah. I mean, you could be dancing, swimming. We got walking in here. I like this 1 hour walk in the park. That's okay. Dr. Jackie, I
Absolutely.
know you got us
Absolutely.
on that path there. But vacation, road trips, let's talk a little bit about travel. In regards to if you do have a heart issue, um, and heart disease, right? Or high blood pressure,
Hmm.
we know you've got to make sure you've said this on shows before in general, whether it's summer or not, make sure you've got your medications with you. And what about extra supplies? Like if you're going on like the whole summer, maybe you're traveling the whole summer, going on a cruise around the world, whatever you're doing. What about medications? Can you get them extended or refilled before you go? How does that all work?
Yeah, you should talk to your doctor, and you can most likely get, a few months
Mm.
supply of your medication that you can carry along with you. If you're flying, I always say try to carry your medications in your carry-on just in case your suitcase gets lost. So at least you
Hmm.
still have medications that you're, taking. So that you can still have that with you even if your luggage gets lost.
Yeah.
If you're taking long flights where you're sitting for long periods of time, I recommend that every few hours you get up and walk up and down the plane or wear compression stockings, um, and those kinds of things. And you want to prevent a blood clot or you want to prevent swelling in your legs. And
What
when you get to your destination, go
Mm.
ahead.
go I want to go to the destination, but I want to ask you about these
Yeah.
compression socks because people talk about them and I don't understand them. They look like thick winter socks to me. I don't get it. I don't know why. Like how does wearing big thick socks make anyone happy? But anyway, they look like that to me, but I don't know. But anyway, go back to when you get to your destination. You were saying once you get there, what should people be aware of?
Oh, right. So if you're when you get to your destination, if it's the summertime, be mindful of the sun and just make sure you stay well hydrated. And if you're going to exercise, because people tend to want to do physical activity when they travel, they typically don't do anything at home, but then they go on these vacations and want to go on tours and do these extraneous amounts of exercise.
Mm.
I would say just be cautious of that. Look at your tours and get a sense of how much walking and activity is required. And if you don't feel like you are, in shape enough to do something, extraneous, you should stay away from that. But if you do decide to go, make sure you stay well hydrated. Make sure you take your medications as scheduled, and the usual sunscreen and a hat to prevent, damage
Mm.
from the sun,
Oh,
and those kinds of things.
It's also like different altitudes. Like I've learned with myself, like certain altitudes, I start to feel a little bit wonky donkey. It's like certain altitudes, like if you get really high up when you're going up a mountain, even if
Yes.
you're not mountain climbing, you're hiking. When you get to certain altitudes, it gets a little hard, you
Yes,
know?
it does.
And so I think that when you're planning your trip, you should, you know, maybe be aware. And before you go on a hike, unless you're prepared to turn around and it gets too difficult, that you should research enough to know that, well, you might have started at 2,000 feet, but now you're at 12.
But that's why hydration is such a big deal to
Right.
have
Right.
water
That's
Mm.
for high altitude. And doesn't that mean we get to have extra chocolate, Dr. Jackie, if you're in a high altitude?
Yeah, right.
I always say do things in moderation.
Uh,
Moderation
uh,
is okay.
we're just never going to get her on that
Should
other
never.
side, are we? We're never going to stretch her over. She won't come to the devil's side. She won't. She's staying on the other side. But Dr.
That's
Jackie,
right.
let's go back to these compression socks. What are they? Because I mean, I know people take them, and it just doesn't. To me, it's like, oh, you're compressing your leg. That
They
doesn't
they
seem.
just look like tights. Like
Yeah,
and
it looks.
Yeah.
It just looks uncomfortable as all get out. Like, what are they?
So they're just the stockings that you wear. It just helps with the circulation and prevents so much accumulation of fluid in your legs. Some
Oh,
people tend to have their legs, you know, accumulate fluid and get swollen to the point where they can't wear, you know, their shoes or what have you. So the compression stockings prevent your feet from getting swollen.
hmm,
see, I
So
would
yeah,
think
so they're
my
tight.
feet would swell more. Like if you were to. I don't. Yeah, I still don't. Yeah, that's interesting.
it's
I mean,
like
No,
wearing
is it a specific fabric
like
that does it? Like it,
a
I'm sorry,
girdle
what did
for
you
your
say?
feet.
Oh, I
I was
didn't hear what you
wondering,
said.
it like a specific fabric that makes it work? You know, I don't know, to me, it just
They
would feel like looking at something like a sock would make me feel like you're wearing something really hot. And so it
no.
would make
Well,
my
yeah, they sell
so
specific they sell specific compression stockings. They're not all, you know, it's not the general stockings that you go to the store to
Mm,
buy. You have to buy specific compression stockings. They're kind of like tights or
mm.
okay.
stocking, you know, they're a little, you know, tougher, so they, you know, keep your legs kind of compressed so that you don't accumulate fluid. So they're not just regular socks. You have to specifically look for these compression stockings
Okay.
that
Hmm,
are sold.
Wow.
There's, yeah.
that's interesting.
Because I know friends who wear like they go, I'm flying, I need to go get compression socks. And I'm like, why? Is the air gonna do something to your legs? Like, you know, I'm I know.
No,
I'm
when
like,
you've been sitting, yeah, no, when you've been sitting on the plane for a long time, you know, fluid tends to go down
Go
to your legs
down.
and just make your
Yeah.
legs swollen. Yeah, because it's just dependent. And,
that's a
you know, if you don't want
oh.
your,
I was just going to say a lot
so
of
yeah,
people are
so
doing that with at work and even
Well,
road tripping. I wonder if truck drivers
yeah,
wear them even, you know?
yeah,
well,
if you're going to go for long periods, if you're going to be sitting in one position for a long period, it doesn't hurt to wear stockings.
that's because our legs are so long. If you look like if you look at other animals, their legs aren't as long as ours usually. So they
Yeah.
don't need compression.
Oh boy.
No, but I mean, we do. Our legs are long.
And now
Our
I'm going to
heart,
cue the music. She's got
yeah,
legs.
no, but our heart is so far from like our feet,
See, Tina Turner knew hot legs.
so it's like that. I can understand where, you can get
Mm.
swollen legs. You get swollen legs before you get like swollen hands, probably. But
Hmm.
um, that because we are tall and it's a long way down to the bottom of your feet. And
So,
your heart has to keep pumping everything and it's going like, dude, I can't do it.
oh my God. So, Dr. Jackie, okay, this long-legged issue that we have as humans, um, now we have to have special socks for it. Does the fluid accumulate because of our diet? I mean, inactivity, like you're saying, right? But um, is it also because I always thought swelling came from eating too much salt, like puffy salt or alcohol or, like dietary stuff that you would swell. Or is that or where does that come from?
Well, I mean, the swelling in your leg can be a sign of, you know, heart disease. If you have heart failure, you can sometimes, you know, accumulate fluid in your legs, or it's just an issue of circulation where, you know, when you're standing or staying in one position for a long period of time, fluid is just dependent, and it just tends to, you know, hang out down in your legs because of
Mm.
gravity. So it could signify that you have heart disease, or it could just be a dependent issue with fluid accumulating in your leg, or a dependent issue. A lot of
Mm.
people have a lot of people get swelling in their legs, and it's not necessarily a cardiac
Heart.
issue.
Well,
Huh.
I don't think we're meant to sit all day long, like when we go to work and you sit in a
Mm.
cubicle for so many hours. I think that
Right.
that puts, yeah, I mean, we're still on the animal scale. Sorry, people.
Well, I'm just gonna
Well,
say
no,
that
but
after you hit 40, gravity
but
pulls.
I think we're meant to move around a lot more than we do. Let's just
Yeah.
put it that way. So if
Yeah.
you move around a lot more, like during the day, instead of sitting for 6 to 8 hours, and you get up to go eat and you get up to go to the bathroom, but then you sit
Right.
for 2 to 3 hours at a time, then your legs are like, well, come on down.
No, but the gravity, like I said, after 40, gravity starts
Gravity.
calling. Gravity says,
Yes.
come on, bring it all down. We want it all.
Yes.
Everything's gonna let the sagging begin. It's like a race, But
Right.
Dr. Jackie,
Sagging.
well, what's interesting? I know we're talking about summer
Yeah.
vacations, but the travel industry has really changed. So everybody's traveling on the roads. That's why I say everyone go back to driving school, please. But but
Oh, hello.
well, I mean it. Like certain cities, like, come on, people, you're gonna kill us. Um, but honestly, the when it comes down to what's happening now in the travel industry has changed in that more people are traveling midweek because they can work remotely, right? Some people are going back
Right.
in. There's this weird thing going on. The battle ain't over. Let's put it this way. We're in this state of fluctuation depending on um what your career is, where, oh, I could stay home for 3 days, I could go to work for 3 days. And so travel is like, I know so many hoteliers and innkeepers and everything, they're like, people are just doing this last minute thing all the time now, which is fine. But what I'm wondering about is their health. Like, maybe you used to walk upstairs, downstairs to see your coworkers when you're in an office building, move around a lot more, or maybe you never got to move around. And maybe if you're working at home, you can go and take those moments to do your yoga or take the morning walks you always wanted to take. So I wonder if that's going to shift at all for people as work life is shifting, if and also maybe stress going down a little bit. Have you seen anything yet? I know it's still early, but in your practice, have you seen any changes in people's lifestyle because of work changes, whether you're working at home or going to the physical location?
No, I haven't really seen much of a change, but my patient population tend to be older, retired people anyway. So,
Mm,
so no, so I
yeah.
wouldn't see, I don't really see much of a change. But we'll see. I mean, I think it's still early. People
Mm.
are still collecting data about, the after effects of COVID and, all these lifestyle changes that have happened as a result of that. So more to come, more to come.
Okay, speaking of travel, should heart patients or people with heart disease be still a little more cautious regarding COVID right now?
I think you should do the normal precautions that you would, do to prevent catching an infectious disease. Make sure you wash your hands.
Mhm.
Masks are no longer, get vaccinated. Make sure you're up to date on your vaccines. And yeah, just, the usual hand washing and,
Mm.
keeping clean that way. Yeah. With
Okay.
the vaccines and now, people are getting COVID, but we don't see a lot of people getting very sick from it. So whether that's a result of, immunity, vaccinations, all of those things, or the virus has mutated, whatever it is, COVID doesn't seem to be causing as much mortality as it used to.
Oh, that's a good
But
word.
it
Yeah.
doesn't mean,
Hopefully.
but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean you should not, continue with good hygiene to prevent catching this infection.
And I think our bodies start to build up immunities. Like, years ago, people died from the flu, and they don't die from it so much. I mean, some do, but they don't die from the flu so much anymore. But I think
Right.
after when a new germ, whatever you want to call it, comes along, then our bodies like they have to attack it and get rid of it, which is part of being sick. But it
Right.
just evolves in your system, and throughout population, it starts to like, okay, who's going to win, the disease or us, you know? It's kind
Right.
of a little bit
Right.
of a war. And yeah, if you can prevent it, that's part of controlling it. But I think from time to time, because we mess with the environment so much, we're going to get things like this.
That's why
Right.
good hygiene.
Right.
We have to wash our hands, be adults, wash our hands.
Yeah,
So, Dr.
exactly.
Jackie, okay, we're going on the
Yes.
vacation, right? Everybody's out, like, let's party right now. Summer barbecues are happening. There's people gatherings, or everyone's partying, right? So, what are some
Right.
balances that we can do to not overdo it? You haven't seen your
Right.
high school buddy for 20 years and they're like, come on, take a shot. You can do it. Don't be such a
Yeah, I know.
baby. Like, so
Yeah,
where's
it's
this
always,
balance we should do on this? Yeah, on these,
yeah, I know
summer.
when you travel, you tend to forget, you know, your normal routines, and, you want to explore, splurge and things like that. But I think you should still be mindful of your heart healthy eating habits, your medications. So I will always stress the fact that you should only have 5 ounces of wine a day. You should try to continue that while you're on vacation. And the big thing with vacation is eating. I would say just in moderation. You want to try to eat it in moderation, cut back on the fat, eat more vegetables so that you're fuller and you don't indulge in the unhealthier things. It doesn't hurt to have a dessert once in a while, but again, just everything in moderation.
Yeah.
You don't want to overdo it, because you can get sick when
Yeah.
you're on vacation and end up having to go into the hospital. So you
No.
want to make sure you're taking your medications as scheduled. Yeah. So those
Well, I
kinds of things.
think it when you travel, especially overseas, right, or in a different state, you want to try whatever the specialty is in food. Like I said, we're in, barbecue town, And so like one night you may be really naughty and have the full experience, but the next day we
You
may
got
need
it.
to go back to like, and maybe go the extreme, the opposite way, and just go like, I'm eating salads all day. You know what I mean? Fresh fruit, salads,
Right.
that's it. So there's
Right.
that balance, because the thing now, in all honesty, yes, there's the big party time. But what I'm also seeing in Nancy as we travel is we're seeing more and more restaurants being vegetarian and vegan friendly.
Right.
We're seeing healthier options on menus, even in the big brand, restaurants. We're seeing mocktails becoming a bigger deal instead of cocktails. Um,
Right.
I think we are in a way taking a positive turn towards health. Would you feel that as a doctor? Are you seeing it being, and I know you're a world traveler. I mean, you've gone everywhere, even the Galapagos, which we're still jealous about. It's still like, I'm
So
like, Dr.
cool.
Jackie. But do you think we're getting better as a society?
I think so. I think we are starting to have more options. People are, more aware of the relationship between your health and what you eat. So there are a lot more options out there. And yeah, I think with more education, we can definitely get better, because, there's always room to improve. But yeah, I think that, you do have lots. You are having more and more options, like you said, in restaurants for healthy eating. So yeah, so I think we may eventually get to a better place, but I don't think we're there yet. But I think it's happening slowly.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while because we're creatures of habit. One thing I notice is, lately I've been looking at how much sugar content there is in everything. Like even in soup, all of a sudden there's sugar. I'm like, why is there sugar in a can of soup? It just seems to be everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like this, oh, let's put some sugar in just in case.
You bring up a good point about sugar. Sugar and salt. So what you're eating is a big deal, and eating out in restaurants all the time on the road, that can I mean, that's part of why we travel the way we do with pet sitting and stuff, is we can make a salad go, there's road food. Like there's honestly Dr. Jackie, like there's next thing you know, if you don't drink sodas, now you're drinking sodas. Are you eating the gummy bears on the road? Nancy, do not look at me. Do not look at me. But it's really bad because
I
you get
can't
sugar
stand it.
spikes. No,
It's so
I'm
bad.
going to tell you about sugar spikes, and they're not good. And Dr.
Yeah,
Jack
but
is on the
the
other
gummy
end of the
bears
line
gotta
here,
go.
and I feel really, I'm holding my head under the desk right now.
You
But
should.
no, you go, you reach for that soda that I never drank. You reach for the candy, and then you wonder why 2 hours later you're asleep at the wheel. And so
Yeah.
don't fall into that. So what are some alternatives that we can look at
A
when you're
sandwich.
because road tripping is back in, right? People are doing a lot of that, and it's not going
Mhm.
away anytime soon. But we tend to pull over at the diner, eat the fried chicken steak and the gravy and the biscuits and, you know, the macaroni cheese on the side, which is absolutely delicious. I don't care how
Yeah,
greasy it is, I'm in. But um, you can't keep
gummy
doing
bear.
that over 2 weeks. I mean, you can't.
No,
What are some
no.
alternatives that we can look at for snacking, and what 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 do we do like in a restaurant like that? Let's just start with the diner. You go in a diner. What would you say, okay, go for this option? Like, do you go for the salad? Do you go for
Yes.
like the chicken breast instead of the smothered covered
Oh, the fried
Right. So
Waffle House? Waffle
you
House.
definitely want to, yeah, you want to pick the healthier options. If there's a salad, definitely you want to do that. You want to pick baked options as opposed to deep fried options.
Yeah.
If they have some fresh fruits and
Mhm.
vegetables, it's always a better thing to do. And the other thing that you can do when you're road tripping, instead of going to a restaurant, maybe you can go to the grocery store and pick up some fruits as
Yeah.
snacks for your car trip,
Yeah.
so that you fill up on the healthier things as opposed to going to restaurants where you may not have healthy options, and or you're tempted to eat the French fries and the fried chicken and those kinds of things. So
What
maybe
about trail
stopping at the
mix?
grocery store, picking up some fruits.
Trail mix, okay? Like actual like
Trail,
That's
nuts
better.
and things
well,
like
you
that?
you would want to, yeah, there. You just look at the content. What's look at the back and look to see how much, you know,
Oh, they're going
salt,
to put stuff
sugar,
in.
and all those kinds
Oh,
of
yeah.
things.
Well, some
Yeah,
trail
and
mixes got chocolate in it.
Well, and
chocolate.
then
Yeah, so
raisins,
you don't.
like raisins, are they
Mm,
bad? Because they're sugary?
Raisins are okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Oh,
not too much. Again, you always want to do things in moderation. You don't want to get the whole big bag of trail mix and eat the whole thing, because when they tell you
Exactly.
the the serving sizes tends to be a whole lot smaller than you think. So again, in moderation, just a handful here and
oh.
there.
Well, I like to just make my own. If you can go to a store
Well,
that has a like you could go get your what are they the bulk stores, right? Where you can get your own
Right.
sunflower seeds, and because I can't eat tree nuts, like I can't eat almonds, and that really sucks. Um, so it's just, I'm
that's
getting
because you
old.
ate too many as a kid.
I don't know. But anyway, so now you can have sunflower seeds. I can do certain things. And so I want to make my own. And that way there's no extra salt being put in. It's all like the raw, kind of thing. And then you don't have to can you overdo nuts? I bet we can, huh?
Yes.
Sunflower seeds,
Oh,
a little,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Nuts
Yeah,
have a
you
lot of, well,
can.
depending on the nuts, have a lot of fat in them. So you definitely
Mm-hmm.
don't want to overdo nuts. Absolutely.
Especially if you get
Uh,
the salted ones.
Oh,
But
and don't eat
right.
too much licorice. You could have a heart attack.
but so my grandmother taught me the best meals are two main meals. There's stews and there's salads. And her salads would be chopped up veggies and lettuce with some dressing, but she would always be to have like cooked meat in the salad, like chicken, not fried chicken.
Hmm.
And so bits of chicken or different kinds of meat in the salad. So you're getting meat and veggies and the lettuce all in one meal. And then the stew would be this is the same thing, not with the lettuce, of course, but the hot meal would be a mixture of meats and veggies and sauce. So that you're getting a mixture, not like here's a huge steak and that's what you're getting.
Right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
so it's
agree
a
with that.
mixture, you know,
Yeah.
and she used to say that that's what our stomachs really want, as opposed to
Right.
let's eat a pound of potatoes and nothing else, or a bunch
Right.
of French fries and nothing else, or let's have a huge steak and nothing else. And
Yeah, Nancy, French fries, nailing you. Ooh,
oh, I know, but you know, that's because they're so
Yeah.
good. So, no,
Yeah,
it's
no,
also
and you want to load up
salting.
more on, yeah, I think mixing it, having, some protein and
Yeah,
nutrients and vegetables, but you want to have more vegetables so that you can cut back a little bit on the protein that you eat. So you don't eat
yeah,
okay.
animal-based proteins. You can eat as much plant-based proteins as you want, but you want to cut back on the fattier
mm,
animal-based proteins.
Okay. Okay. So, and that's it, because the other thing, people go and eat that jerky on the road too, like the dry
oh,
sausagey
isn't it?
things and all of that.
Yeah. Oh, that's bad
That,
for you. That's all salt and
what
fat.
about
Yeah.
pork rinds? Those
Yeah,
pork
because
things.
isn't jerky really mostly salt?
I know.
Yeah.
We're bringing Dr. Jackie on the show to give her a heart attack every time we bring up another food item. She's like, stop it. No, 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 no. She just call it the no, no, no show with Dr. Jackie. No, no pork
That's
rinds, no
right.
French
No,
fries.
no,
Nope.
no.
Pork rinds. Pork
Well, do
rinds.
you, no, Nancy was talking on the show the other day about stuffing a hamburger with onion rings. So what do you think about that?
Oh, good
Oh, because I
heavens.
No,
saw, no, I saw this
Oh
picture
my
of all these hamburgers.
God.
don't give
Oh
Dr.
my
Jackie a heart attack.
Oh God.
The hamburger was so tall because it had so many, it was 3 patties of meat with cheese in between, topped with onion
Bacon,
rings. And I'm like, you couldn't even put that in your mouth. It was so tall. It's like, that's not a hamburger.
not Dr. Jackie approved. I guarantee she's just like, no. And then you wash it down with, 10 ounces of wine. No, not
Yeah.
happening.
Oh
Dr.
my
Jackie's
goodness.
getting mad at us right now.
Oh
But
But I
my
mean,
okay.
goodness.
it's like, I don't
But
even know how you would eat it. I
but
mean,
actually, this is the thing. I think as we were talking about, there's all these naughty things, and once in a while you're gonna indulge, right? Then you just
mm,
get back
Right.
into the healthy thing as fast as possible. We talk
Right.
about that about the holiday season,
Right.
but summer is like a
Absolutely.
silly. I think right now we're all just like, let's play while we can do it, in case, Um, but so we can swap out our things, have our little naughty, then go back to being good. I
Exactly.
love what you're talking about, vegetables and fruit, and hey, support our farmers. Organic, right? That's important too,
Right.
as much as we can, or wash them
Yeah,
really
as much as
well.
you can.
Yeah, as
Yeah,
much
as
as you
much as you
can.
can. Yeah. Yeah,
Expenses, right?
absolutely.
We got
Yeah.
that for diet. We'll behave as best we can. Try to do those salady things and all that. Um, I just and take a vacation, even if it's yoga or rock and roll, whatever you want to do, right? Have some time out. And like Dr. Jackie says, 5 ounces of wine for us ladies, only once a day. And
Once a day, that's correct.
hard like margaritas, you have one margarita and you're over. It's done. It's out. It's
That's
it's
that's right.
it's done. Water, big deal. That's a big deal too. So, I think we can have a fun summer. We can have our little naughtiness, but get back into it. And like I was saying, I think the we're getting better as a country of having these options, and also not looking down on people who want to do
Right.
the healthier options. I think that's actually
Right.
been a issue, to be honest, is that people look down on you if you're
Right.
not, you know what I mean? It's like, you
Yeah.
know, there's been this
well,
weird thing about that. So um
Yes.
I like that idea of being able to take the healthier option and not being snubbed at for doing it.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
we want to have a good
Yes.
life. What about working out? That's a thing too. Hotels, even cruise ships have workout rooms.
yeah,
So
Yes, absolutely. You always have gym options, or you can get out and walk around.
yeah.
Walk several blocks. Yeah, so you always have lots
Mm-hmm.
of options when you travel for physical
mm,
activity. The question is whether you choose to do it.
Well, walking, I think, is a really good, it's a calming exercise. It's not like you're jumping up and down or anything. You're just walking. And I think it
Right.
relaxes your mind as well as, helping your body.
Yeah. You can't
Right.
stay mad when you're walking. You just can't
That's
stand. You
walking
can
and
stomp
swimming.
around for a while, but you can't be aggro. It calms you down. Before you go, Dr. Jackie, one quick question. I'm hearing people going that they lose weight by eating one meal or only 2 meals a day.
Yikes.
Is I mean, I don't know
Fun.
about this. I don't. Doesn't it go according to your body and your own personal like body needs? Like if you're a diabetic, maybe that's not a good thing. I'm just wondering. I keep seeing this on headlines of just eat
Yeah.
one
I
big
mean,
meal a day and that's that. And don't we need to look at it per person?
yeah, I would agree with that. I think that you know, you shouldn't just, you should be mindful of how you are in your body and your medical conditions when you decide to go on a diet. Definitely talk to your doctor first before you pick diets. But the whole idea of losing weight is to cut back on your intake, and whether it be, just eating half what you normally eat. But however you do it, just your total intake should be less. And that's less intake, more physical activity. That is how you would, lose the weight, and you figure out which one works best for you.
I love it. I love it. Well, always good to have you on the show. Everyone, Dr. Jackie's book is Women and Heart Disease, The Real Story. You can go to her website, womenandheartdiseasebook.com. Of course, get on Amazon, all those places. And it is Dr. Jacqueline Eubany. That is the name on the book, and that's her name. And if you're in Orange, California, you can go to cvwellnessinstitute.com and go see Dr. Jackie. We want to come see Dr. Jackie. We have to come see you on our way through California.
Yes.
And
Yes,
we'll
you
go
have
out
to.
and have a 5 ounces of wine in a park, okay? After we take a walk
Sounds
Uh-oh.
good.
to celebrate, right? Oh, I said 5 ounces because Dr.
5
Jackie,
ounces, yes.
we cannot misbehave in front of Dr. Jackie. We
Are
cannot.
those European ounces or American ounce?
God.
And you see what I go
Since-
through every day,
since-
Dr. Jackie?
Since we're in America, I would say American, but
Dr. Jackie, do you know
I
that
don't
every
think-
day
I
I have
see.
to, I tell Nancy, Dr. Jackie says this, and it's my only recourse. Do you understand how many times your name is used?
I see.
You see, you
Mhm.
see, you get it. But Dr.
Yes, I
Jackie
do
says
get it.
this, Dr. Jackie says that, and no, and no. And I use the word no, and then she looks at me, well, what do you know? And I go, Dr. Jackie said so. See,
Hey.
I'm just saying, I'm just busting you on air. Boom, bam.
No,
But then if she turns and looks at me, I'm done. So I'm done. So there it is.
I'm the good one.
Listen, you always have another day to step up from,
That's
we
right.
all fall down. We all fall down
That's right.
in our goals for our health and happiness. Every time you fall down,
Yeah.
just get right back
You can
up
get back up. That's
immediately.
right. It's not the
That's
end of the
it.
world.
No,
Don't beat
it's
yourself
not.
up too much for it. You can
No,
always
Yeah.
get back up the next day.
you
There's
can. And
always
it's
another day.
and we're supposed to be happy human beings. So, that's
Right.
the balance. Find that balance. Thank you so much, Dr. Jackie. You have a wonderful summer.
Thank you. You guys too. Till
Thank
next
you.
time.
Take care.
Okay, take care.
Funny.
Take care. Bye.